Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Mountain Seat Ceremony, or the Abbot installation for Hosan Sensei Alan Senaki. This ceremony is known as Shinsan Shiki. It consists of two major parts. In the first part, the new abbot, called the Shinmei, enters the temple grounds and is welcomed. He's shown to the Zendo and then accepts the temple seal and signs a contract. In the second part, the Shinmei will respond to several people who ask questions, and then he presents the teachings. The ceremony will end with congratulations from invited teachers and friends who will offer expressions of support and appreciation. For this Zoom meeting, everyone in attendance is muted, other than the invited guests, and the chat function is closed. There is a link for a PDF of today's program in the chat box, which you can print or keep open on your computer. If you would like to convey your appreciation and good wishes to Hosan Sensei at the end of the ceremony, we will post a slide that has a Kudo website where you can send your congratulatory remarks, as well as an email and his home address. This information is also provided on BCC's website. Please note, we are following COVID protocols. We will begin shortly.
The Dharma freely comes and goes, through Shogakuji's swinging gate. People come and go. Today, I entered this gate with a golden wind in my sails.
Hozan Kushiki, you have been chosen by our beloved first abbot, Sojun Mel Weitzman, to be our second abbot. The Berkeley Zen Center board, at the direction of and with the support of the Sangha, joyfully and unanimously ratifies Sojun's choice. This is a rare moment in our more than 50 years of practice, a moment of great celebration together with great sadness. You are a devoted disciple of Sojun. Over the years, you have responded to his many requests to step forward in your practice and to take up a number of leadership roles. Through this, we have come to know you and to see how the fruit of your practice has ripened. We know you to be steeped in Dharma, generous in spirit, open-hearted in sharing your life, your home, and your family with us. Rigorous in following the precepts and in providing us with guidance and structures to do the same. You bring a wisdom about community, the importance of relationship in Sangha, and also a deep understanding of how to tend relationship, how to turn toward rather than away from hurt and anger, how to heal injury and restore harmony. For these and many reasons too numerous to name, we, the Sangha of Shogakachi, Old Plum Mountain, Berkeley Zen Center, invite you to be our abiding abbot, our BZC Hojo-san. We do this with much confidence and much gratitude for your willingness to serve. You have our wholehearted support.
Homage to Shakyamuni Buddha, who lived the activity of saving beings, and he lived the stillness of Zazen. During 45 years of walking through town and country, you lifted the lamp of awakening and you passed it on to shine across the years. Now I lift it up and I vow to follow the light, to protect and share. Daigen Shuri Bosatsu, who is the great protector of the principles of practice. This offering is for you, who day and night guards the truth of things as it is. Your fierce visage is the other side of a loving heart. Please keep and protect us, and may we embody your heart. This offering of herbs is for Mahapajapati Gotami, the first woman ancestor, and for all women ancestors, known and unknown, without whom the Dharma that we practice is incomplete. Your insistence on truth and practice was thoroughgoing, like a drop of water penetrating a stone. All of us, women and men, are forever in your debt. This offering is from my great-grandfather, Shunryu Suzuki Roshi, founder of our temple, teacher of our teacher, wind of our lineage. You gave us all you had, including your confidence. The second offering I make here is to Hakuryu Sojun Daiosho. Now our two founders stroll side by side in the Pure Land. I bow in gratitude to both of you and will not permit your Dharma to fade, nor will I allow your all-inclusive joy to go away. This small room, the hojo, is not a room at all, but a place in space, marked by a gateless gate, open to all, always, where we can safely meet face to face.
President of this temple, Shogakuji, Onkyo Josu Mary Duryee, temple seal one stone. With these vows, we humbly request of you, please accept the position of new abiding abbot and fulfill it from compassion.
After a long time, you have arrived. We are very grateful, and we wish you many happy days and nights. May your life be filled with 10,000 blessings. Shinmei. May your life with us be satisfying, healthy, and happy.
The Buddha's precious robe covers all beings in every Buddha realm. Wearing it is a great responsibility. Sewing this robe is the work of bodhisattvas. I offer 108 vows to Berkeley Zen Center sewing teacher, Jean Selkirk, with great assistance from Sojun Roshi, Peter Felser, Catherine Ogburn, Lisa Nelbach, Kenshin Catherine Cascade, John Mogi, Kathleen Kistler, Judith Putnam, Lori Sanoki, Hannah Miera, Deb Self, Brianna Wiggins, Ryushin India Thatch, and Kika Susan Helene. With deep gratitude, I received this wholehearted gift with its fertile rice fields sown by the Sangha. I take refuge in the three treasures, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, and wear this robe with the mind and body of its sacred meaning. Now we open Buddha's robe, a field far beyond form and emptiness, the Tathagata's teaching for all beings. Dai Sai Gita Kukru, Muso Fuku Dene, Ibu Nyorai Yo, Hodo Shoshujo.
We will now hear statements of support for the new abbot. The first speaker will be Gengo Akiba Roshi, Bishop of Sotoshu in North America. Akiba Roshi's words will be translated by Dr. Paula Arai.
はい。はい。空式さん、新三式を挙行されますこと、心よりお祝い申し上げます。
Honorable Kushiki-shi, I want to extend to you my heartfelt felicitations on the solemnization of your installation as abbot.
はい。バークレーゼンセンターと工人庵はすぐ近くの隣の寺同士であります。
Berkeley Zen Center and Kojin-an are neighboring temples in close proximity to each other.
空式師に対し、私は隣寺のお所さんとしての親しみを感じてきました。
Being neighboring temple priests, I have come to feel a closeness with Kushiki-shi.
空式師は1980年代前半に禅の道へ入り、以来ずっと道元禅に親しんできました。
Kushiki-shi embarked on the Zen path in the early 1980s, and since then has become intimate with Dogen Zen.
遍歴を重ね、バークレーゼンセンターに落ち着いてから、師匠である宗純大和尚様に親しく仕え、士官多座の仏道研鑽に良き伴侶であるローリーさんと共に励んできました。
After accumulating a history of pilgrimages, he settled at the Berkeley Zen Center, serving under the tutelage of Honorable Sojun Daiosho. He devoted himself to the Buddhist way of shikantaza, just sitting, accompanied by Ms. Lori, a fine companion on the path.
やがて、宗純大和尚様は空式師を信頼し、全センターの副住職の役を任せました。空式師は全センターを管理し、修行の指導も務めてきました。
In due course of time, he earned the trust of Honorable Sojun Daiosho and was appointed to the position of Tanto and then Vice Abbot. Kushiki-shi took on these roles while serving as a guiding instructor to those who came to practice.
その間、空式師は北アメリカ総統禅の主たるグループであるオーガニゼーション ASZB、SZBA などの要職を務め、北アメリカ総統禅の健全な発展のために多大な貢献をされてきました。
All the while, Kushiki-shi took on many other important posts in significant Soto Zen organizations in North America, such as ASZB and SZBA. He is instrumental in contributing to the growth of Soto Zen in North America.
また、世界の貧困な子どもたち、迫害をされる人々への救済活動もされてまいりました。幅広い禅僧としての人格を形成されています。
Moreover, he is very active in campaigns to eradicate hunger in children and unjust persecution of the people around the world. These experiences help to broadly shape his character as a Zen monk.
宗順大和尚様の発出として、バークレーゼンセンター小学寺のアボットに就かれましたことは、誠にありがたい啓示であります。
Regarding the matter of Abbot of Berkeley Zen Center and the successor of Honorable Sojun Daiosho's lineage, this installing of Kushikishi as abbot is truly a gratitude-infused, auspicious event.
宗順大和尚様は、この啓示を目にすることなく、大寂静中の人となられたことは、大変心残りであったことだろうと推測します。が、立派な発想、はい、どうぞ。はい、
I surmise that it must have been a deep regret for Honorable Sojun Daiosho to enter the great nirvana without witnessing this auspicious event. But he must have felt.
はい、が、立派な発想を残したことに安堵もされておられたでしょう。
But he must have felt at peace in leaving the teachings to a magnificent successor.
宗順大和尚様は晩年、空色師に、次の一句を与えられました。如是の方、仏祖密に伏す、汝今これを得たり、よろしくよく保護すべし、法教三昧の冒頭の句です。
In the latter years of Honorable Sojun Daiosho's life, he presented to Kushikishi the first verse to the Kyōzammai, jeweled mirror samadhi, which reads, "The Dharma of thusness is intimately transmitted by the Buddhas and ancestors. Now you have it. Preserve it well."
空色師は同調となられ、これから結成案を行います。そして大和尚様の位につきます。
As the abbot, Kushikishi will take on the role of overseeing the intense Kessei Ango training. He will become the Honorable Daiosho.
そして弟子を育てることが最大の責務となります。師より伝えられた法を保ち、次の世代へさらに伝えることが汝の務めであると、宗順大和尚はこの句を与えられたのでしょ
う。Moreover, nourishing the next generation of pupils is the utmost responsibility. As the master exclaimed, there is no greater task than to preserve and to pass on the Dharma to subsequent generations. Honorable Sojun Daiosho was likely referencing this passage.
祖師方は我が法を断絶せしむることなかれと弟子を励ましています。空色師はローリーさんと共に立派にこの務めを果たされるでしょう。
As our ancestors proclaimed to the pupils, we cannot let the Dharma be extinct on our watch. Kushikishi, along with Ms. Lori, are more than up to the task.
ともあれ、本日は本当におめでとうございます。
This indeed is a day to be celebrated.
最後に、空色師に祝下を呈します。祝下を捧げます。使用の信任、密かに伝来し、 慈縁ここに熟し、蓬莱を振るう。ほう、見よ、設計キリンの絶えなるを。随記証拠万頭に密。2021年1月記述。バークレーゼンセンター小学寺新さんの継承。後人言語。
In celebration of Kushi being installed as Abbot of Berkeley Zen Center, I offer this poem. Kushikishi, through teachings received from Sojun, Roshi, and wisdom inherited from all the ancestors, built a solid foundation that culminated in him becoming the abbot. Kushikishi, now the causes and conditions are ripe to spread the Dharma like the roar of thunder reverberating near and far. Hear ye, honorable people gathered today, do we not see what a sense of protecting care? Are we not eager to receive the exquisite ways Kushikishi will wondrously expound the truth and guide us? This indeed is a celebratory day filled with refreshing and exhilarating currents that carry beautiful, felicitous light across the entire East Bay and Berkeley on this day of great peace in January of 2021 from Gengo of Kojin on.
はい、おめでとうございます。はい、新井さんありがとう。翻訳ありがとう。はい。
We now welcome Berkeley Zen Center's board president, Mary Duryee, representing the Berkeley Zen Center Sangha.
Shinmei Osho, Hozan Kushiki, dear friend, you have followed this path for many years up to this point. You first walked through the gate in the early days at the Dwight Way Zendo, and you settled into practice in the early 1980s at the Russell Street Zendo. Sojun ordained you in 1989, and then asked you to be head of practice together with Meili Scott in 1997. You received Dharma transmission in 1998, and you were installed as Vice Abbot in 2007. Now, you are our Abbot. This is an especially tender moment for our transition. Anyone who becomes the successor to the founder will experience a particularly challenging path. We may find it difficult not to compare you with Sojun, even though we know that there is no one right way to be a Zen teacher. We know this from the stories of our ancestors. And we know this from our homages chant, in which we pay homage to Manjushri, the perfect wisdom Bodhisattva, and Samantabhadra, the shining practice Bodhisattva, and Avalokiteshvara, the infinite compassion Bodhisattva. We cannot expect you to be Sojun. We can rely on you to be completely Hozan. And we know who you are. We know you as someone with a deep understanding of people. We have relied on you to help us sort the inevitable difficulties arising in Sangha with patience, acceptance, and skill. You have been instrumental in establishing formal ways in which we listen deeply to one another through council process, and to hold ourselves accountable to one another through the harmony, ethics, and reconciliation process, which you had a major part in creating. You are always interested in how people are connected and in ways of bringing people together. In you, we witness the way that people who practice and live together in friendship and dharma add to the stability and longevity that is a mark of our community. We recognize this as your life work, weaving together networks of people. Attesting to this are those gathered here today. They come from your college days, your life of music. They are your Tassajara Dharma friends and fellow compatriots devoted to social justice and activism, which includes the International Network of Engaged Buddhists and the Buddhist Peace Fellowship. They include the Sangha communities where you taught, the Upaya Zen Center, the Arcata Zen Center, the Vindendvolken Sangha in Germany, the community inspired by Ambedkar in India, communities in Myanmar, and many other places. We, in your proximal Sangha, have not always appreciated the value of this, and at times focused on how much your work took you so far away from us. We were largely unaware of the significance and depth of your work in those places. Lately, however, through the blessings of Zoom, we begin to understand. Present today are people in at least 4 continents and 7 or 8 countries: Japan, Sri Lanka, Germany, Australia, India, Mexico, the US, and Canada. We now have active Sangha members who regularly join us from the other side of the world, of our world, in Germany and India. We are being brought together in ways we could never have imagined. Those here in Berkeley, those half a state away, half a country away, and half a world away. Through this, we are all enriched. We are enlarged in our understanding of the breadth of Sangha, unhindered by distance. You are someone who relies on a circle of colleagues, indeed, a worldwide network of teachers from whom you draw support and to whom you hold yourself accountable, even as you offer support and accountability to them. In all these ways, you have brought and continue to bring your teaching of connectedness home. And we realize at last that you never left. We, your friends, your students, your Sangha, your colleagues, all join together to support you. Please feel this palpable circle around you. Please accept our support. Please receive our confidence in you. Please feel our love for you. Lastly, please remember Sojun's intuition is unfailingly accurate. You are the perfect person to take us into the next chapter of Old Plum Mountain Temple.
Now we welcome Joanna Macy, representing Friends of the New Abbot.
Alan Kushi. I am so happy to have the chance to express to you on behalf of your friends our gratitude for what you have given us and our determination that you experience our support during the days and months that lie ahead, because this is a time before us in this decade of the 2020s, unlike any time before. So I wish that I could invoke here. I feel them at my back, the friends that I sense around you, that I've seen around you in many different places, around you here in your own Zen Center, which I'm not a part of, but a happy visitor when I can come. A lot at the Buddhist Peace Fellowship during your directorship there. How I love to come by. How I loved the way I could walk right in and sit down and talk about what was facing us all, or the last adventure, the last gripe I'd heard, or whatever. How I cherish the friends I saw around you in INAB, the International Network of Engaged Buddhists. Seeing you there in Sri Lanka, seeing you meeting with them on Zoom, what you have meant to that network can't be put into words, but they feel you at your back, at their back. You have remembered the hardships they're facing during this time of the pandemic. You reached out to them then. You saw that they got resources and could speak openly of their needs. I think of your friends in the Think Sangha. How wonderful that was to bring in that fresh intellectual creativity. And I love the minds that played with yours there on behalf of us all. I think of your friends on a death row, and I think of the Dalits in India, and I think of your friends in the refugee camps. Their sense of being supported in this world, of having a friend in this world, a sense of promise in this life, has come to them in large measure through what you have heard and seen and done and spoken for with them. So I know they want you to feel that they're at your back, and let me say that for them. And also remind you of what they find in you. They find a friend who sticks with them through thick and thin. They find a brother who will speak for them. They find a bodhisattva brother with a lot of political smarts, a passion for justice, a love for beauty and music, a well-rounded life. And they're glad that you bring with you Lori, your partner, and that you're supported by her and your wonderful family. I was particularly, feeling of personally tremendous support for your work with the Dalits, the Ambedkar's people, because I had been deeply affected by them myself before they were known in the West. And also the Rohingya, who are suffering so still now. And as I express our support for you, I want to just see this moment for you as you step into becoming abbot at this very important crossroads for our world, is that this decade is like none other for our planet. On the one hand, we are more divided than ever between those that recognize the danger of climate catastrophe, among other divisions in this country, which are very acute right now. And on the other hand, we know that it is in this decade of the 2020s that we must lower our greenhouse gas emissions. So it's an incredible moment that we are faced with the necessity of acting together and becoming a planet people in this decade, that you are having this Zen Center supporting you in your work. So my prayer for you is that you are not letting go of your work for the planet, but finding a greater, stronger base for it as we learn together how to become a planet people for the sake of life on earth. I wish you all the blessings of the Bodhidharma with my greatest love.
The steep slopes of this mountain have been my home for many years. I have seen the storms and the bright lights playing around its peak. Today I climbed the narrow path that path has no sign, but ancestral voices whisper to me the true direction, and I will not turn back. The whole earth is the true body of Shakyamuni Buddha. I return these sweet herbs to this world for the sake of peace. We live by the grace of the earth's generosity. All lands are holy. All people are chosen. Buddha mind is the birthright of all beings. The way to live in peace is to take care of this birthright, day and night, serving all beings as a sourceless spring bursts through the rocks. I offer these herbs to ancestors known and unknown, to rivers of relations flowing from ancient times. My Zen ancestor Shunryu Suzuki Roshi came across the Pacific to share his wisdom. And he transmitted this to his son, Huitsu Suzuki Roshi, and to my teacher, Hakuryu Sojun Roshi, who planted his staff first here on Old Plum Mountain as our abbot, supporting us for all those many years. I bow to Tenshin Zenki Reb Anderson Roshi, who affirmed my practice more than 30 years ago at a cold and anxious time at Tassajara. I bow to Shodo Harada Roshi, who welcomed me into the Sanzen room of Tahoma Zen Monastery many years ago. And now he tends the practice of my son, Alex. Roshi and Chisan, your encouragement, joy, and rigor plant warm steel and an open heart in my zazen and in everyday activity for the sake of the world. I bow to the late Robert Aitken Roshi. Aitken Roshi, you are a modern ancestor to engage Buddhists and Zen practitioners alike. I saw you labor ceaselessly for beings in need. And I heard you weigh each word to find the correct expression, the key that might turn the lock in the door of awakening. I make this next offering in memory and gratitude to all our deceased sisters and brothers, teachers and friends, whose practice and generosity ceaselessly unfold the Dharma wheel and the material wheel. Ceaselessly unfold. The Dharma wheel and the material wheel turn as one. I call Maylie Scott, Fran Tribe, Rebecca Maeno, Al Tribe, Dolly Gattosi, Jed Appleman, John Scholl, and many more as the years unroll. Your contributions are immeasurable. Those I have known live in bright memory. Those unknown, your footsteps are nevertheless visible on the Buddha way. Hakuryu Sojun, Daiosho, White Dragon, Essence of Purity. If I say the white dragon has flown away, then Sojun twists my nose. The dragon roars, how can it ever fly away? My ears are always ringing with the sound of Sojun's teaching.
We now welcome our first questioner, Zenju Earthlyn Manuel, guiding teacher of still breathing Zen Sangha.
Shinmei Osho. Given the turmoil in the world, I realized that I was born into it. And when I die, I will leave it. So my question to you is, how do you understand the continuous suffering of sentient beings in this world, century after century?
Each of us thinks it's about us, and we don't realize that we share the world with everyone else.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you for that quick answer. And great congratulations.
We now welcome our next questioner, Kenshin Catherine Cascade.
Shinmei Osho. I'm told that Shinmei means new life. You've been a good long while in the womb of the Sangha. What now is newly alive?
I never know. I will wait and see what happens tonight, what happens tomorrow, and I will allow myself to be changed and affected by it. That's how new life is constantly arising if you pay attention to it and if you allow it.
Thank you. Congratulations. Great congratulations.
We now welcome our next questioner, Miyoko Susan Moon.
Shinmei Osho, new life. How will your new seat at the top of Old Plum Mountain change your view of the suffering in the wide, wide world?
I don't know, but I feel responsible for the beings within my vision, within my field of vision. And I know that that field of vision will be a bit different than it was. And I don't know what that's going to be like, but I am prepared to turn towards those beings. And at the same time, not to abandon others. So maybe my head will split into 11 visages. I don't know.
Thank you. Congratulations. Great congratulations.
We now welcome our next questioner, Ryushin Andrea Thatch.
Shinmei Osho. What is the essence of our Berkeley family style?
Love.
And is there a tune that expresses it?
All you need is love. All you need is love.
Can you sing a few lines?
All you need is love. Ba, 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 ba. All you need is love, and so on.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Great congratulations.
We now invite our next questioner, Jiren Jill Jameson. There.
Shinmei Osho, you have shared the Bodhidharma widely with many Kalyana Mitra across Asia, who, like the Dalits in India and the Rohingya in Burma, continue to face oppression and systemic violence. How, from your high mountain seat, will you continue to respond to them and offer ways of healing for all of us and for our societies?
The mountain is an illusion. If you've been here, there's no mountain. It's all a level place. We are on the same level as our friends in India. We are on the same level as the Rohingyas in their camps in Bangladesh. And we have to remember, we are all on the same level. Keep that in mind, and then we can turn towards each of them as best we can. There's an expression of Suzuki Roshi's that I love, which is to shine one corner of the world. That corner may be small, and that corner may be big, according to our capacities. You have great capacity. I know, I've seen it.
Thank you. Congratulations. Great congratulations.
We now welcome our next questioner, Nansan Harold Shokelman.
Shinmei Osho, looking at this world, I can see the truth of the song you once wrote, that everything is broken. But please tell us, is there something that is not broken?
I guess I should clarify that I did not write that. Bob Dylan wrote that. However, I will accept it because I sang it. You are not broken.
Thank you.
Yuan is not broken. Our practice is to be whole, even when we accept the wounds and the blows that come the way of all beings. Be whole. You are whole.
Thank you. Congratulations. Great congratulations.
We now invite our next questioner, Kahi Andrea Henderson.
Shinmei Osho. In Not Always So, Shunryu Suzuki Roshi said, to exist in Big Mind is an act of faith. Throughout this pandemic, I have noticed that I have lots of doubt. How can my Zazen practice help me develop faith in my practice?
Follow your doubt. Question your doubt. If you do that, it will lead you to faith. There's nothing, the doubts that we have it's our way of teaching ourselves. So just be your teacher.
Thank you. Congratulations. Great congratulations.
We now invite our final questioner, Genpo Alex Sanaki.
Shinmei Osho.
Genpo.
Genpo.
What does that mean?
Pure Dharma.
Wow. And you're wearing a rakusu? Wow, it's okay. This is a bit much. Ask your question.
Shinmei Osho.
Hi.
Suzuki Roshi talks about sitting true zazen. And what is true zazen? And what's the difference between sitting zazen and sitting true zazen?
Sitting true zazen is just getting up and going to the Zendo and sitting there, irrespective of the conditions of your mind or your body or the world around you. It's just saying, this is what I'm doing now. That's true zazen. Sojun Roshi said, if you decide, I'm going to sit a period of zazen on April 11th, 2022, and you do that, that is true practice. But I think you can do better. You can do better, and I promise to do better. Genpo, wow. Mazel tov.
Thank you. Congratulations. Great congratulations.
Back at you. So there's a sequence of teaching statements. This one is called Teiko, or fundamental backbone. The sixth ancestor of Zen, Daigen Huineng, had his own bodhisattva vows. Sentient beings of my mind are numberless. I vow to save them all. Sentient beings of my mind are born moment by moment, according to my state of mind. These are my selves, born in countless realms. Likewise, my mind does not just reside in this bowl of bone on top of my shoulders. All of you participating here across cyberspace and continents are sentient beings of my mind, and I am a sentient being of your mind. There is one big mind and countless individual minds. None of them, strictly speaking, is mine or yours. So, my fundamental backbone is not to abandon beings, not to turn away from self or others. Our meeting may take various forms: embracing, listening, working together, giving a gift, coming alongside each other, or staying at a safe distance. We save sentient beings with an appropriate response. Each response hazards success, failure, and new beginnings. Not sure why this is. This statement is called Jago Byakutsui Chi, and it's an appreciatory statement. With the deepest gratitude, I bow to my Dharma grandfather, Hoitsu Gyuhaku Suzuki Roshi, whose warm presence, contagious joy, and natural wisdom fly across the wide Pacific Ocean. Your teaching and example have sustained your father's way for many years. Your teachings have always supported Sojun Roshi and our Sangha and my own family. And I want to say that I never saw Sojun Roshi so much himself, so relaxed as when he was with you, Hojo-san. May good health and happiness flourish for you and your family. This statement is called Gyo. It's a personal statement. A wandering Jew, turning from the promises of privileged suburbanity, I was in the wilderness for half my life until I turned to Zen with a question that is still my question. What am I doing here? My family and teachers helped me bear what could never be fully answered. Beginning as cool streams in the high country, joining and swelling, two rivers flow across continents to merge in a life that I call my own. My grandparents came here from the Pale of Settlement to escape pogroms, hatred, and the anti-Semitism of Eastern Europe. They found opportunity in the United States. A second river flows through India, China, and Japan to Suzuki Roshi, who also found his place here in the West. He nurtured wise students, and we are their children. Ancestral rivers meet and merge in me. I am in the stream of Hebrew prophets and Buddha ancestors. My heart yearns for justice and liberation. Lori, Sylvie, and Alex are here today, along with siblings, cousins, and friends that I consider my family. I met Lori at Tassajara. We are so fortunate to have raised a family in the midst of this loving community. I could never have imagined a life like this. I could never have wished for anything more. This statement is called Nensoku, and it presents an understanding of koan. Long ago, Master Yunmen Wenyan was the head priest of Lingshu Monastery. One day, a monk asked Yunmen, "What are the teachings of a whole lifetime?" Master Yunmen said, "An appropriate response." Suzuki Roshi used a different translation, which says, "The teaching confronts each." There is no doctrine, no instruction book. Each unfolding moment is our teacher, or it can be if we are paying attention. There is no God to say what is appropriate. I must see, hear, and feel an appropriate response. Just to be aligned in time and space, beyond right and wrong, knowing that time and space express essence of mind. Stillness and action are literally points of view. This teaching confronts each. How shall we live? How will I live? Ketsuza, concluding statement. What strange days of pandemic, of loss of our teacher, of upheaval in the country, and of love as well. My way name that Sojun gave me is Hozan, which means Dharma Mountain. I've climbed that mountain today, and Sojun's prediction has come true, though I deeply wish he were here to see it. My Dharma name is Kushiki, formless form, Mr. Formless Form. It's a bit much. Sojun told me to let things fall apart and to rejoice when they come together. My path, like my teachers, is to carry the form of Zen in an ordinary, formless way, to be aware that the formless side is difficult, demanding, ever deserving of my closest attention. Today, I stand before you as Hozan Kushiki.
Daigen ho yoze.
So now I have descended the mountain. Wow. There's so many people who combined to make this extraordinary event happen. It's amazing to see how it came together, especially in this technologically demanding universe. So the particular people I want to thank, there's a list of them, was Steve Weintraub, who was the director of the ceremony, very patient and kind and did a wonderful job. Mary Duryee, Carol Paul, who were the two-person Ryoban, which would ordinarily have about 15 people, I think. Lori Sanoki, Ross Plum, Helen Cheng, John Voss, who was the sort of technical director. You didn't see him, but he's put all the pieces, all the electronic cyber pieces together so that it could make this work. Raghav Bandla, Blake Tolbert, Rob Lyons, Mary Beth Lamb, Mark Coppathorne and his kids Hazel and David, Barbara Strauss, Paula Arai for translating, I believe Daichi Priscilla Starant, who's going to do some translating, the residents for taking care of the grounds and cleaning, and all of those who offered support and questions and their kind words, and particularly to Hakuryu Sojun Daiosho, whose spirit fills every moment and every corner of this room. And as I'm doing this, just to realize how I owe him my life, almost every good thing that's come in the last 30 years, and also my training, which was rigorous and complete and kind. So those are my initial gratitudes. If I left anyone out, I apologize, but everyone participated together to make this happen. And I promise to support you as we go forward together.
We will now hear some congratulatory remarks. We welcome Hoitsu Suzuki Roshi, Abbot of Rinso Inn. His remarks will be translated by Dr. Paula Arai.
宝山老師、新山式おめでとうございます。私が新名宝山さんにお会いしたのは今から40年ほど前のことであります。
Felicitations on ascending the mountain and being installed as Abbot of Berkeley Zen Center. Honorable Shinmei-sama, it has been nearly 40 years since we first met.
今思い出すのは、あなたがこの林相院、私の寺に見えられたときに、歌を歌ってくださった。軽やかな声で、澄み切った声でした。そしてギターの音色、これを思い出します。
When you visited me at Rinso-in and sang for me, even now the buoyant timbre of your singing and guitar is a vibrant memory.
私が思いますのは、座禅と音楽。これは私たちにとって最も大切なものの何か、大切なものの何かの裏と表のような感じがいたします。
I think that Zazen and music are the front and back sides of the what.
裏と表というのは、両面ということで、裏とか表とかということではなくて、両方の面ということです。
The front and the back sides are both sides. They are not two sides, they're one.
座禅は 一人の人の座禅がこの大きな天地を包み込んでしまう。そして音楽はこの大きな天地を表現するもの、ここに表すものだと思う。
Zazen envelops the universe. Music expresses the universe.
宝山老師もそのように思われることでしょう。座禅から出てくる表現、あるいは言葉、これは限りない無限な宇宙の果てまでも届く、響いていくもので、その限りない宇宙を入れてもまだ余りのある世界、宇宙の入れ物、この大きな世界を一人一人の座禅の中に収めてしまう。これが私たちが伝えている、行っている座禅ではないかと思う。
So Hozan-san, I think you agree that words and expressions generated from Zazen reverberate boundlessly in the universe. Immersed in this great world, the world of the 10 directions, the boundless universe abides in the Zazen of each person.
これが私たちの理想とするところだと思う。
I think this is the ideal way for us to live.
私たちの師匠、あなたのお師匠様、宗純老師や、またその師匠、鈴木春龍の言葉や表現も、あなたの音楽のように人々の心に響いて忘れられないものになっている。
The words and expressions of your masters, Sojun Roshi and his master, Suzuki Shunryu, are like music, like your music, that unforgettably resonates in our hearts.
それはなぜかというと、座禅からあふれ出た言葉であり、限りない無限の世界に向かっての自然な現れであるから、皆さんの心に残るのです。
Why is this so? Because they are all words that flowed out of Zazen and are the natural expressions of people focused on the boundless world. That is why they linger and resonate in our hearts.
宝山老師のこれからの表現や言葉、あるいは生活は多くの人に たくさんのものを伝えることでしょう。
Your life, your music, your daily activities will speak, will teach to many people.
そのような道をこれから世界に広め、そしてまたお近くの親しい人たちに伝えていっていただきたいと思います。
Now expand the path you have inherited and launch it anew into this vast world, as well to the people who are close around you.
あなたの将来にたくさんの幸せがありますことを心からお祈り申し上げます。
From the depths of my heart, I pray for an efflorescence of bliss in your future.
そしてね、今、私たちは今こそ世界の一人一人にとって座禅をして自分をしっかりと見てよく考えていく時だと思う。そしてこの不思議な私たちの命は大変不思議なものでありますが、この不思議な自分と世界に目を向ける時であります。
Especially in these times, I think it is incumbent upon each of us to contemplate the world. I think it is a time to focus on the mystery of self and world.
昔の人がどなたかが言った。一人の人はすべての人。すべての人は一人の人。と言った。そしてまた、一というのはすべてということ。すべてということは一ということ。ということを昔の人が言っている。
A person of old has said, one person is all people, and all people are one person, or one is all is one. This is what those of old have said.
今日は大変おめでとうございました。厳粛な儀式を遠く日本から拝ませてもらいました。本当に感動をいたしました。ありがとうございました。おめでとうございます。
Today is indeed a felicitous day, and I am so moved that I have been able to come from far Japan to say congratulations to you today.
We now invite Shodo Harada Roshi, Abbot of Sogenji. His remarks will be translated by Daichi Priscilla Storant.
はい、法師ご指導おめでとうございます。今日、新山式を聞いて、喜んで、こうしてズームに、出ることができました。ありがとうございます。
Thank you. Congratulations. He is so glad to be able to be here today, celebrating with you on this most auspicious occasion.
今日は、本庄の息子、アレックス、今日から、元宝と名乗ります。
From today, along with the celebration of Hozan, we will now call your son by his new name, Genpo.
宝山和尚とは数年前に参禅を通じてもよく存じております。宝山和尚の迫力はとても抜群のものを持っておられます。
From doing Sanzen with you from several years ago, he knew very well that you were full of a great, full-taught key energy, strong and intense.
昨年、コロナウイルスが蔓延する一足先に、最後のギリギリの時にアレックスが草原寺に到着いたしました。
And last year, at the very last possible moment before the corona prevented people from coming here, at the last minute, perfect timing, Alex, your son, was able to enter Sogenji at that very moment.
不思議なことが起こりました。この時にあたって若い青年たち、大勢の青年たちがここに同じく集まったわけです。
Something very mysterious happened at that time. Inconceivable. At that very same time, really at the same time, many young people, energetic, came here to train, all at the same time.
アレックスはじめ、オーストラリアから、そしてさらにドイツ、またリスアニア、この青年たちが実のところ、とっても迫力がある青年たちばかりが集まったみたいです。
First there was Alex, and then from Australia, from Germany, from Lithuania, from England, people who have come, and all of them were full of this same great, huge, key, full-taught energy, dynamic.
こうして元宝禅師の迫力はまさに宝山和尚の迫力、それに匹敵し、さらに上回るかと思うその迫力を持っております。
And he felt how that huge key energy, this full taught key energy, was just like going further with that of Hozan Osho.
そういう中でみんな人数は少ないです。24、5人しかいません。だけども迫力のある連中ばかりがおりますので、とっても盛り上がっております。
And of course, right from that time on, not so many people here because of the times, 20 people or so, but that huge full taught energy has become more and more exponentially increasing with this group training here.
もちろん私も禅道に入って皆と一緒に座っておりますが、まあ皆の迫力もよく感じます。
Of course, he is joining everyone every night, sitting in the Zendo with them. He feels directly and absolutely that this is increasing and deepening in every sitting.
そういう中で今日アレックスのいわゆる原法の希望により今日朝受会をいたしました。
And from there came forth the deep request from Alex, from Genpo, and Roshi gave him permission to have this ceremony today, not knowing the connection, coincidentally.
お父さんの名前を生かしたいし、こういう中でこれから将来のこともあるので、名前を原法、黒源の法、ダールマということで名付けました。
And for that reason, he took the letters from Hozan of Ho and added Gen, and Genpo is the now name.
おそらく彼の迫力から見ると、法は必ず成就してくれるはずです。
And because of the knowing of his full taughtness, he is sure that he will bring great vitality to the spreading everywhere of the Dharma.
そういう意味で、薬も書いておきましたが、言中の言と書いて、そうしてこれを見よと書いてありますので、彼は生涯、お釈迦様の第一句を、言葉に上らざる一句を体得してくれると思います。
And with this in mind, he wrote the poem on the back of his rock suit. The mysterious deep eye within the mysterious deep eye, to always see forth from there. And with this, he will bring forth this Dharma functioning.
どうぞ、法山和尚のご縁をいただいて、良い人材を派遣していただいたと感謝しております。
He's very, very grateful for your deep karmic connection, from which a wonderful opportunity to have this person together and being with us doing this is something that he is deeply grateful to you for.
このご縁をもって必ず大成していただくまで私も努力いたします。
And until this karmic connection is brought to its thorough and complete fruition and fulfillment, he will give it all of his energy and efforts.
どうぞ安心して、そしてまた将来の喜びを携えて、これからの道を大切にしていただきたいと思います。
He said, with that, please feel settled and at ease, because this joy is waiting for you and it will be fulfilled without fail to come forth in your furthering in this path that we are seeing with you here today together.
本当におめでとうございます。ありがとうございます。
He said, really, truly, congratulations. He really celebrates this with you.
Okay.
We now invite Roshi Jonjiku Halifax, Abbess of Upaya Zen Center.
So, my dear friend, your beloved teacher, Sojun Mel Weitzman, has gone beyond, and now you ascend the mountain seat of Berkeley Zen Center. You know, I'm recalling the night chant. Life and death are of supreme importance. Time passes swiftly and opportunity is lost. Let us awaken, awaken. Do not squander your life. You have not squandered your life. You've lived the paramitas as a selfless bodhisattva in service to people all over the world. Your whole life has been about nourishing beloved community from the 60s on, through India in the Ambedkar movement, in Myanmar, the Rohingya in Bangladesh, INEB, the wise stewarding of Buddhist Peace Fellowship, your dedicated and brave prison work, your presence at Berkeley Zen Center, your presence at Upaya, serving in our chaplaincy training, and more. Your life and my life have woven through the 60s, through Columbia University, with your buddy, Mark Rudd, the folk music scene and Alan Lomax, the civil rights movement, the anti-war movement, Zen, teaching at Upaya, where you brought so much wisdom and care. You're so loved and respected. And now you've ascended the mountain and become the abbot of your beloved Berkeley Zen Center, your home, your family's home, and the refuge to so many. And your life is big roof Buddhism, to use the words of our good friend Isan Dorsey. Your life has offered shelter locally and also globally. And I know that many others feel as I do, just this incredible gratitude for your patience, your great humility, your determination, your humor, your creativity, for your wisdom and for your love. Know that we support you completely as you take on the mantle of responsibility to your community. And all of us also will remember that your mantle as well embraces the whole world. So we at Upaya offer our deepest congratulations to you, but even more to your community. We're so grateful for your generosity of heart and also for your extraordinary courage. Thank you, dear friend.
We now invite Central Abbot Rinso Ed Sadazan, speaking on behalf of the San Francisco Zen Center.
Dear Alan, Hozan Kushiki, what a joy to see you climb this mountain seat. Hear you teach the Dharma and feel the great support of your wide Sangha. I feel honored to offer congratulations to you on this occasion on behalf of San Francisco Zen Center, and in so doing recognize the deep and unique connection between Berkeley Zen Center and San Francisco Zen Center. Almost like siblings, the teachers and teaching in both centers flow from the same source, Suzuki Roshi, his teaching and his way. And Sojun Roshi was abbot both at Berkeley Zen Center and San Francisco Zen Center. And you and others have practiced extensively at Tassajara. In all these and in many other ways, we are close. There's a strong bridge in our hearts between our two practice communities. And this bridge, This bridge building is natural for you. You are a bridge builder. You have skillfully built and continue to maintain a bridge to Sodoshu, our Soto Zen family in Japan, and in your enormous, deep, and various work in social justice and social equity, you have built and continue to maintain a bridge to many people and communities here in the United States and around the world. You never hesitate to jump into the muddy water to help people, even when it means traveling tens of thousands of miles to Bangladesh and Burma, to Sri Lanka and Thailand, to India, Malaysia, Germany, Rome, Hungary, Japan. Yes, it's amazing just to name all the places you have traveled to. Traveled to offer help in whatever way it is needed. Like Kuan Yin with her 1,000 arms, and to offer Buddhist practices of liberation in all these places. Your patience, your forbearance, your down-to-earth bluegrass band way, your humor, your insightfulness, your creativity, all these qualities that were always there and yet have deepened in your many years of practice. They have all stood you in good stead. May you continue to prosper in the Dharma. Let us continue this close association and mutual affection between our practice communities. And let us all continue to work together for the benefit of Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, for the benefit of all beings. I give you my warm congratulations.
We now welcome Soto Ron Nestor.
Dear Hozan, you have a hard act to follow. Sojun Mel was remarkable, very remarkable. But Sojun also had a hard act to follow in Suzuki Roshi. And he just did it. And I know you can do it too. We can't help but compare you to Sojun. I mean, we know that that's foolish, but we can't help it. But I also have trust that you know better than that. And you know that you can't do that, that you have to just be who you are, and we'll support you. And I'm really happy to do that. And really, I feel like the whole Sangha should pitch in. I'm hesitant to use the word should. I wish that the whole Sangha would pitch in and support you and help take care of BZC. Someone asked at one of the remembrances for Sojun on Zoom, asked me if because I've been around a long time, did I see Sojun go through many changes over that period of 40 some years? And the answer, of course, I did. He went through many changes and evolved in different ways as he grew, as we all grow. And of course, the same is going to be true with you too. And I remember I've seen you go through, because I've known you a long time, and I've seen you go through a lot of phases, and you've seen me go through a lot of phases, I'm sure. I remember the first memory I have of you is standing on the porch outside the Zendo, and I was just meeting you for the first time, and you mentioned that you played the guitar. And I said, well, will you play for us? And you said, sure. I have a keen memory of that very simple exchange. So I wish you well, and I just want you to know we're behind you and with you, and really appreciate your strengths in terms of holding things together, and also appreciate how you and Lori have managed to be the kind of pivotal center of BZC for a long time in a certain way that's kind of unique, actually. And and realized how to balance your positions and your authority in a way that was harmonious and that would coincide with Sojun. So I really appreciate that role you've taken, and especially opening your house to so many people in a way that most people I don't think would be comfortable doing as well as you and Lori have. So thank you very much, and let's continue.
We now welcome Kakudo Peter Overton.
Hozan, Alan, I am so happy to be offering you some congratulatory words on this occasion. Your commitment to and enthusiasm for practice have given the whole Sangha a wonderful example of the Dharma in action and the precious gift of trust in yourself and in others. This has been a long journey for you and for all of us. I have tried to be patient as we approach this moment, but not being a patient person, I looked forward to this day. However, through your teaching and example, I now see that we were right here all along. My patience, such as it is, has been deeply rewarded. I have only gratitude for your warm hands and heart, your wry sense of humor, and your steadfast practice, always keeping in mind the watchwords I have heard you repeat. I will not abandon you. This expresses to me your vow and commitment to see this one thing right before us through to the end. Your decades of long cultivation of relationships with many teachers and sanghas beyond Old Plum Mountain gives me the confidence that you could lead us in understanding our practice in the midst of this ever-changing world we inhabit. What more can I say? I treasure your presence and trust we will find our way supporting each other in relationship throughout the Sangha. Please be well and lead us in this new adventure. Thank you.
We now invite Kijin Hannah Mira. Please unmute yourself, Hannah.
Our congratulations to you, Hozan, and gratitude for what you bring to being our abbot. In my voice are my words, and also the words of your other students standing here with me, our words. You, always present, truth-telling, kind, interested, listening, attentive, wise, without pretense. You mean what you say and do not pretend otherwise. Your reach is vast and close to the wide body of Buddhist teachings and the details of our daily practice. To a person in the offices of the world's largest refugee-serving organization, to target our donations to the refugees for whom we feel most responsible. Within India, to befriend and encourage Dalit Buddhists. In the Soto Zen Buddhist Association, to know and to link us to Soto Zen practices and teachers across the US. And to those in other Buddhist as well as other religious traditions. To the music of the folk from way back and right now. As one of your students wrote, he goes beyond what is expected with warm-hearted generosity. He is just a person, steady, walking the way, with hands outstretched to all. We're here with you. We appreciate your devotions. It takes a lot to be you. So always remember that your fellow travelers are here to help. Thank you. Congratulations.
We now welcome Sylvie Sanaki.
Dad, I am filled with so much pride today. And I had this memory come to me that I thought was so perfect and appropriate, which is of when I was a young child, growing up at BZC, the temple grounds were the place that I played. And when I was 7 or 8, I was playing on the lawn that we saw in this ceremony next to the Zendo, in the sprinkler with a friend and with Alex. And there was a low, I think we weren't supposed to be on the lawn. There was a fence made of string around the edge, but we were playing in the sprinkler in the lawn anyway. And I was wet and I had my hair flipped over my face and I tried to leave the lawn and I tripped over the string and I fell towards the Zendo and I hit my chin on that first step of the Zendo, which is made of cement instead of wood. And I cut my chin open. And it's such an intense memory of being scared and in shock and in pain, and sort of totally out of control. And then the next part of the memory is you joining me in my space. I think we were waiting to go to the hospital. And you came down and joined me. And you didn't tell me not to cry. And you didn't tell me it's not as bad as you think it is. But you sat with me as I was really freaking out. And you had a calmness and a presence that was the most soothing and comforting. And I try to hold on to that. And I know that it's that kind of love that has brought you to this place today and the ability to share that kind of love. And I'm so grateful that that's the kind of love that I got to have as I was growing up with you in this community. And I'm so happy that everybody here today, in this wide community that you've created, can feel that love also. And I just know that when things are really hard, that is the presence that you bring, and it's such an honor to be able to share it. So I'm extremely happy and offer my deep congratulations, and I love you.
Lastly, we welcome Kosei Lori Sanaki.
Stand up. Oh, okay.
Wow. What a long, slow climb it's been up this particular mountain. Like a careful walk among the brown, rolling California hills our kids think of as home. We don't yet know whether we've reached the top of the Devil's Peak or the nourishing heart of the reclining goddess. Probably both, like the foot before and the foot behind in walking. Sometimes you're near at hand, sometimes far away. Yet I think of us like two horses walking in harness, facing forward, together every step of the way.
You're not done.
Oh my goodness. So moved by that ceremony. Thank you for coming and being here and celebrating this incredible ceremony. And now if you want to send your appreciation to our new abbot, Hozan Sensei, a slide will be shown, and there's a website, a Kudo website, where you can post your congratulatory remarks, his email, as well as a home address. It's also posted on the BCC website. So please take good care of yourselves and your family, and may you find peace and joy in your life.
Yes. That's it.
Go together now.